Starting us off at number 10, Jimmy Fallon. The beloved late-night host has been knocked down a few pegs after mass scrutiny has been launched his way. Following the Black Lives Matter movement, many celebrities have had their past dissected by fans for their racist histories. Jimmy Fallon is now one of those celebrities under the microscope. After a clip from a sketch back in 2000 resurfaced, Jimmy was heavily scrutinized for his participation in performing in blackface. In the skit, Jimmy was supposed to be impersonating actor Chris Rock. Haven't we learned by now that blackface is bad? I mean, blackface has always been bad, but really, must we remind people every few years about this? Also, why was it even necessary to put on blackface to impersonate Chris? He's more than just a skin color, people. Needless to say, a lot of people are upset with Jimmy for this, and even had the hashtag JimmyFallonIsOverParty trending on Twitter when the news broke. Jimmy has since apologized for his actions, but many say that they will never see the host the same way again. In at number 9, Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens is next up on our list of the most hated celebrities of the year because of her comments made about the current global health crisis. Back in March, when this whole crisis sort of began, Vanessa took to her Instagram live and spoke out about her thoughts of the situation. Vanessa went on to say, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but inevitable? Fans were seriously not happy with her remarks and decided to cancel her for it. I mean, I don't blame them. Sure, back when it was the beginning of all this madness, we didn't know how long things were gonna last, but come on, this isn't a situation to make light of. I know we were all bored of being stuck at home, and we were struggling with the uncertainty of it all, but still, it's not a very nice thing to say. Vanessa later went back to social media to clear up some things, saying, "I don't take the situation lightly by any means." She apologized for her remarks and has tried to move on from the situation, but it still made her quite a bit of a public enemy for a while. Cruising through at number 8, we have Elon Musk. We've seen a lot of controversy come out about Elon this year. From naming his kid after a barcode to his views on the global health crisis, Elon hasn't been in everyone's good books this year. The SpaceX founder has been scrutinized on Twitter all year, and it seems that no one's really buying into his crap anymore. Even partner Grimes had to call him out on his tweets. Most recently, Grimes had to make Elon come to his senses after tweeting about his views on pronouns. Grimes, who is a big advocate for transgender and non-binary rights, had issued a response to Elon's tweet after saying that pronouns suck, by replying with saying, "I love you, but please turn off your phone. I cannot support hate. Please stop this. I know this isn't your heart." Fans were not happy about the remarks made by Elon, but that's nothing new. Elon has also vocalized his support of rapper Kanye West as he tried running for president, and has even made light of the current health crisis by tweeting "Free America Now" in an effort to get people back to work. My conclusion with Elon here is that he needs to take a break from the internet for a while. He's been ruffling people's feathers a lot this year, so I think it'll do everyone some good to see him stop tweeting for a while. Over here at number 7, we have Lea Michele. Back in June, actress Lea Michele saw her career take a nosedive after co-worker Samantha Ware spoke out about her time on set with Lea, calling it a living hell. The dam holding her career together bust wide open, and a whole slew of allegations against Lea began to surface. Lea had posted a tweet regarding George Floyd saying that the racism must end. Samantha then replied to this tweet saying, "Remember when you made my first TV gig a living hell?" and referenced how her many microaggressions made Samantha question her career in Hollywood. Judging by the fact that Samantha's tweet was in all caps, I think it's safe to say that she's pissed and she's looking for accountability. It wasn't too long after this initial tweet that more people began to come forward and discuss their grievances with Lea. Even her partnership with popular food brand HelloFresh fell through, as they declared that they do not condone racism or discrimination of any kind. To make matters worse for the actress, the apology that she issued wasn't really much of an apology, as she stated that she didn't remember the behavior that she was being accused of, but she had clearly acted in ways which hurt other people. Now, with her accusations and sorry excuse for an apology, no one's really out here trying to forgive Lea, and I personally believe that it'll be a while before we see anyone budge on that. Why can't we all just be nice to people? In at number 4, Kanye West. Rapper Kanye West has been making a lot of headlines this year, mostly for his bid to run for president. In a very public display, Kanye has been all over social media talking about his presidential campaign, among other things. At his rally in South Carolina, things got pretty heated for the artist as he went into a sort of manic episode and started going on about things completely unrelated to his campaign. Among those odd topics were stories about Kim Kardashian's conception of their first child North, as well as his views on religion and his belief that abolitionist Harriet Tubman actually sold slaves instead of freeing them. Now, in defense of Kanye and everything he's been saying recently, it does seem that he's in a bad place mental health wise, and a lot of people are trying to get him some help, but I can see why a lot of people are upset with him. Many of the things that Kanye has spoken out about have deeply offended people, including his own family. Shortly after that catastrophe of a rally took place, his wife Kim Kardashian took to Twitter in an effort to de-escalate the situation, but also to voice her disappointment in what Kanye said that night, especially about their eldest daughter. All in all, Kanye's been in some trouble online, and although he seems to be getting the help that he needs, I don't think that fans will be too quick to forgive him, or even vote for him for that matter. Chugging on through to number 3, we have Jeffree Star. Makeup mogul and YouTuber Jeffree Star has been on a lot of people's hate lists for some time now, but this year, with the explosion of the Black Lives Matter movement, people are coming for his many wigs once again. In another resurfaced scandal, Star is being accused of racism for like the billionth time in his career on the internet. The YouTuber has carried around the label of being a racist for many years and has made countless apology videos for that, but this year fans have had enough of him. After an old website of Jeffree's resurfaced on the internet with offensive language as well as photos of him posing with the Confederate flag, Jeffree is back on the fiery coals of Twitter and he's getting roasted. I don't think anyone's really surprised at this point. I mean, 2020 is the year of cancellation, so obviously Jeffree has to be a part of it. Fans are also still angry with him over his involvement with the infamous Dramageddon from last year, and as Dramageddon 2.0 began to rear its ugly head once more this year, Jeffree's reputation took a massive hit. Between his accusations, his past, and just him being Jeffree, he's lost followers, business, and even his collaboration with Morphe. He's had so much backlash over the years that I don't really think anything will change with him. He's made yet another apology video and has just continued on with his life, so I guess that it's only a matter of time before we see him caught in the middle of a next YouTube drama. Coming in close to the end of number 2, we've got Shane Dawson. Speaking of problematic YouTubers, let's talk about Shane Dawson. Shane, much like his YouTube counterpart Jeffree Star, has also had his fair share of YouTube controversies. Shane has also had a reputation for being quite offensive. This year, alongside Jeffree, he has also faced cancellation on the internet. Once again, after footage of him in blackface resurfaced, he was called out for his past racist behavior. As every good YouTuber does, he made an apology video, but that wasn't enough for many fans. As if his current situation couldn't get much worse, YouTuber Tati Westbrook, remember her from Dramageddon? Yeah, she called Dawson out and accused him of being a part of the orchestration of the whole Dramageddon fiasco. Oh, and I'm not done. Shane was also called out by none other than Jaden Smith himself on Twitter. The son of actor Will Smith criticized Shane for making sexualized remarks towards his sister, Willow Smith, back when her song Whip My Hair was first released. In the resurfaced video, Shane is seen in front of a poster of then 11-year-old Willow Smith and acting out in a sexual manner. Both Jaden and Jada Smith were upset about the video and demanded accountability. Since all of this unfolded, Shane's been MIA from the internet and no one knows if or when he'll be back. One thing's for sure, however, no one's gonna be forgiving Shane for a while. Finally, capping things off at number 1, we have Ellen DeGeneres. Now, I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to you guys, but here in the number 1 spot, we obviously have Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, come on guys, she's had the biggest scandal of the year and we're not even done the year yet. 2020 has not been a good year to be Ellen. But just as a recap, Ellen has been getting absolutely destroyed in the media and on the internet this year. It all has to do with her bad attitude and poor work environment on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show. We've seen new developments with this story come around at least once a week, and it doesn't seem to be settling down anytime soon. She's had allegations of poor workplace behavior and misconduct be thrown at her, as well as to other execs from the show since the beginning of this year, and it just seems to have snowballed since then. As more and more former employees have come forward to share their horror stories of the celebrity, Ellen's grave has just been dug deeper and deeper. At this point, there's no saving her career. I mean, 1 or 2 scandals here and there can be redeemed, but if you've been facing the hellstorm that is Twitter for months, there's no coming back from that. Even when Twitter decided to cancel Genghis Khan for who knows what, even he could come back from that, and he's been dead for 800 years. Ellen, sorry to say, but you might be Hollywood's newest public enemy number 1. Kicking things off at number 10, Ed Brown, also known as Big Ed. Big Ed has made a big impact on viewers during his time on 90 Day Fiancé. But since the beginning, fans of the show haven't been too impressed with Ed and his character. Fans were pretty displeased with how Ed treated his girlfriend Rosemary Vega on the show. Ed faced backlash for lying to her about his height, commenting on her appearance, telling her to get an STD test, and lying to her about wanting more kids. There was just a lot wrong with their relationship, and the fact that when he would lie to Rosemary, he didn't seem remorseful at all. But his actions on the show aren't the only reason why Ed has faced some backlash. Ed's former co-worker came forward with allegations that Ed had harassed and insulted her over the course of several months. Ed's co-worker Lorelai Clemens claimed that Ed was her and she experienced verbal harassment and ended up in the hospital and dealt with a lot of health issues as a result of an incident that happened with them. He's not really as genuine as he claims to be, and baby, we've seen it. In at number 9, Cardi B. This year Cardi B has faced heaps of backlash, mostly pertaining to her song WAP. Yes, we're talking about this again. But I mean, although she's found a lot of success through the release of the song, she's also acquired quite a lot of hate as a result. There have been people saying that the song is too vulgar and that it's too sexual and the song is degrading to women. We've heard opinions from politicians to actors and everyone in between, but Cardi and her creation have been at the center of it all. Cardi doesn't seem to care much about what people think of her because she's proud of what she's created, but that doesn't stop people from hating her. Cardi's faced backlash in the past for allegedly men and for her criminal background, but she's never changed for anyone and I doubt she ever will. Cardi really just remains unfazed by the whole thing. In at 8, Doja Cat. Doja Cat, my apparent celebrity doppelganger, got some serious hate this year just for it all to be rescinded. The singer was cancelled and even had her very own over party trending on Twitter just for people to double back and apologize, saying that they were wrong and taking back her cancellation. What started the controversy that had people hating on her earlier this year was a resurfaced video of Doja Cat in an alt-right chat room. People online were claiming that she was participating in the chat talking to racists and laughing at their racist jokes, so naturally they pegged Doja as a racist as well. Following the chat room allegations, one of her old songs resurfaced where people were claiming that she was making fun of victims of police brutality. Obviously this was pretty bad and Doja was getting a lot of hate for it, but soon enough the claims that Doja was racist were debunked as the truth about the chat rooms came out, saying that they were not racist at all and Doja had never said anything racist. Soon the hashtag #WeAreSorryDoja started trending and the whole scandal pretty much blew over as if nothing happened. At 7, Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau is no stranger to getting hate, that's for damn sure. But 2020 has brought on a new wave of hate, prompting Tana to be forced to take accountability for her past actions. An influencer named Kaylin Berry made a video titled "Finally Revealing the Truth About Tana Mongeau," where he talked about how Tana mistreated him when they worked on a channel together called Trash back in 2016. Not too long after the video was released, another influencer by the name of Vanessa Briella came forward to talk about Tana, as well as her manager Jordan Verona. Both Kaylin and Nessa accused Tana and her manager of gaslighting, spreading lies, and dismissing the feelings of the black creators who they worked with. The allegations came up following the Black Lives Matter movement, where a lot of people had been coming forward to highlight the microaggressions against black people in the industry. Fans called on Tana to address the situation and take accountability for her actions. She finally released an apology video addressing everything she's been accused of, but people thought the video was stale and robotic and gave her a hard time for that too. In at number 6, Evangeline Lilly. Back in March, when the world was starting to lock down and address the global health crisis, we saw some celebrities make some questionable judgments on the situation, as well as voice some pretty unpopular opinions. Back when Gal Gadot was singing to the internet to lift spirits, and Vanessa Hudgens was speaking ill of those affected by the virus, we saw Marvel actress Evangeline Lilly posting about how she was dealing with the global health crisis. In an Instagram post, Lilly posted that it was business as usual and she dropped her kids off at gymnastics class and went on with her day. Backlash ensued, and in response, the actress said that the lockdown protocols felt like martial law and that she valued her freedom over her life. A very unpopular opinion. Even Game of Thrones star Sophie Turner chimed in to call Evangeline's decision stupid. I mean, it's not the smartest decision, but that's just my opinion. In at 4, Lana Del Rey. This year, singer Lana Del Rey has come under fire for her comments about women in music. Lana was receiving hate for bringing up a double standard that stars like Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Doja Cat, and others receive praise for their music, talking about being sexy, wearing no clothes, and other topics, whereas critics have called Lana out for allegedly glamorizing abuse and other things. Lana claimed that the fact that she gets hate for singing about certain topics isn't fair for her, and that there should be a feminist community for women like her who get their voices taken away by other stronger women or men who hate women. She was also criticized on Twitter for calling out women of color to support her argument, though people say that she had completely glossed over how those women have also had their struggles with writing about their own issues, and called Lana out for her white privilege. Although there were some who agreed with her statement, some did not like the way that she worded it. At number 3, Lili Yifei. Lili Yifei is the new leading lady in the Disney live-action remake of Mulan. Though the movie has been pushed back because of the pandemic, the film has finally been released, but people are trying to boycott the movie because of Yifei's support of the Hong Kong police. There has been a lot of controversy surrounding the Hong Kong police, as they've been clashing with protesters who are pro-democracy in the country. There have been many violent clashes in the past, and the UN Human Rights Office as well as Amnesty International have condemned the Hong Kong police for their use of force against protesters. People online have been very angry with the actress's support of the police force because of her large following, saying that she could have been a voice for justice rather than supporting the brutality. The movie has also come under fire for filming in an area that is currently being used as detention camps for minorities and has been condemned as human rights abuse by human rights advocates. In at number 2, Bella Thorne. This year, Bella Thorne has been receiving backlash because of her OnlyFans scam. The former Disney star announced a few weeks ago that she was starting an OnlyFans page where fans could pay to see exclusive content of the star. The response to her launch was huge, and she made over $1 million in the first 24 hours of the site being live, but soon this success came back to haunt her. Fans were not happy with the content and requested a refund for their purchases, and because the OnlyFans guidelines permitted that, customers received their refund, but at the expense of many other creators on the site. The money that was returned to the customers was tied to the income of many other creators, and therefore OnlyFans was in a deficit and were not able to pay other creators as a result. People were really upset with Bella because her scam cost other creators their income, since they were gonna have to wait 30 days to cash out their earnings instead of the usual 7. Fans were hating on Bella not only for scamming her customers by not providing what they thought she would, but also because she single-handedly broke the system which supplied payments for other creators on the platform. Finally, at number 1, J.K. Rowling. There's a lot going on with J.K. over here. She's been getting hate for months now, and every time she comes out with a new statement, it just keeps getting worse. All of this started back in June when JK came out with statements about transgender people, and many people took offense to what she'd been saying. JK spoke out about how women are the only people who menstruate. She posted about TERF, which stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. She wrote about her support for a woman who lost her job because she was transphobic, and liked a tweet that compared hormone therapy to antidepressants. Basically, people are hating her because she's allegedly been transphobic. Bottom line. Recently, she's dug her grave just a little bit deeper as she announced a new book that explores a cold case involving a transvestite serial killer. Though JK says that she's a supporter of trans rights, her actions seem to say otherwise, so she's been faced with a lot of backlash from the LGBT community, as well as the cast of the Harry Potter movies.
Beginning our list at number 10 is Bill Cosby. For many years, he carried the title of America's Dad because he was a role model in show business and a big influence for other generations of comedians. He also played the father of the famous TV family on The Cosby Show. He was adored by many, to say the least, so much so that even after sexual assault claims came out towards him in 2005, he was still capable of continuing on with his career. It wasn't until 2014 when his career took a hit and one of his victims came forward and told her story to the Daily Mail and the Washington Post. After that, more than 60 accusers came forward and spoke against him, and he was placed behind bars in 2018. Coming in next, number 9 is Amy Schumer. People fell in love with her quickly after they saw her interview on the Ellen DeGeneres show. She quickly rose to fame and became one of the highest paid female comedians. But the jokester has been accused of going too far with some of her jokes. And many people would agree that either you hate her or you love her. There's really no in between when it comes to her. I personally find her hilarious. However, I don't always agree with some of her jokes and commentary. Like this one. One time she took things too far and made a really bad joke about Ryan Dunn's death. He was known for his time on Jackass and died tragically in a car accident. During one of her skits, she took a jab at Ryan's longtime friend Steve-O and said, "I'm sorry for the loss of your friend. I know you were thinking it could have been me. And I know we are all thinking, why wasn't it?" She was actually booed off stage for that. It was that bad. Coming into number 8 is Lance Armstrong. For a long time, he was known as one of the greatest cyclists of all time until he became famous for being involved in one of the biggest doping scandals in cycling history. After finding out that he was using drugs and cheating the system, it was hard for fans to hate him at first because he was a heroic cancer survivor. He often tried to inspire others, but they still couldn't ignore the fact that he was very wrong for what he did. The US Anti-Doping Agency said he ran the most sophisticated, professionalized, and successful doping program that the sport has ever seen. In the end, he was actually stripped from his cycling titles, dropped by all of his sponsors, and was banned from professional cycling races altogether. His career and reputation have never been the same since. Let's just say that. Next up at number 7 is Jennifer Lawrence. It's hard to tell the overall consensus when it comes to this beauty. Some people will defend her, and some will totally drag her name in the dirt. She skyrocketed into fame after people fell in love with her for her role in the Hunger Games. She became one of the youngest winners for the Best Actress at the Academy Awards, and was the highest paid actress in 2015 and 2016. Somewhere along the lines, though, people started to turn against her, saying they can't relate to her anymore. They said that she became rude in person and she wouldn't acknowledge them or take photos with them anymore. People have raved online that they once adored her normal girl persona, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. She just isn't relatable. Rolling into number 6 is TJ Miller. At the beginning of 2017, he was on top of the world. He played the fan favorite character on Silicon Valley, Weasel in the Deadpool franchise, and landed his own HBO special, Meticulously Ridiculous. He was killing it. But his career started to take a hit when HBO announced that the producers of Silicon Valley and the comedian mutually agreed to end their partnership. But details came out saying that TJ did not want to do it anymore and said that he slammed the show's writing and had tension with the producer. Later down the road, he was accused of sexual assault by a woman from his past, but denied all the allegations. Then, he allegedly submitted a fake bomb threat and was arrested in April 2018. So, he's got a list of reasons as to why he's on this list. Halfway through at number 5 is Adam Sandler. He's been one of the biggest actors in Hollywood pretty much my entire life, and he's always been adored for his talent. I didn't realize what people thought about the actor until I started doing some research. People have criticized his work over recent years, saying that his movies aren't as good as they were before, and basically have said that his time is up. Forbes gave him the title for Most Overpaid Actor for 2 years in a row back in 2013 and 2014. I don't fully understand why he's hated so much. I think people are just kind of over him and maybe have moved on and started like adoring other actors. I've always liked Adam Sandler, so I personally don't hate him, but I would really like to know your guys' opinion on Adam Sandler. Do you hate him? Do you think his time has passed, or is he just as good as he's always been? Let me know what you think. Here now at number 4 is Amber Heard. If you are on the internet these days, then this one is pretty self-explanatory. She's had a very successful acting career, and with that comes millions of adoring fans. But that all changed after the lawsuit between her and her ex-husband Johnny Depp has been all over the media. Detailed evidence has proven that she made up her allegations about Johnny Depp her, and she could be facing up to 3 years in jail for her own domestic abuse charges against him. She will be jailed if found guilty for manipulating and faking evidence in her lawsuit. She posted photos of her face being all bruised up and said that Johnny did it, but her own stylist has come forward and said that she did not see any visible marks, cuts, or bruises on her face or body that day. The photos that she posted with bruises all over her face are said to be photoshopped. Taking over our 3rd spot is Taylor Swift. When Kanye took the mic from her at the MTV Music Video Awards, people came to her defense and cried for her. But over the years to follow, people have started to kind of turn against her for a variety of reasons. Some people don't believe her side of the whole story about Kanye's song, where she apparently gave him permission to use those lyrics in his song. Some people don't agree with her political views against the president Donald Trump. Some people don't like her music. Some people don't like her voice. And some people even criticized her new Netflix documentary, which showed a more personal side to her life. I personally think she's always had mixed opinions. Some people I know have always loved her, some people have always hated her, some people love to hate her. You know, I feel like that's up to you. I did gain more respect for her after watching her documentary though, I gotta say. Coming into number 2 is Katherine Heigl. There was a time when she was showing up in practically every rom-com and people loved seeing her bubbly self on the screen. But then she gave her brutally honest opinion about one of them and people started to dislike her. She took the lead in the 2006 movie Knocked Up, and in 2008 she opened up about how she felt about it. In the January issue of Vanity Fair, she said the movie was, I quote, "a little sexist. It paints women as shrews, as humorless and uptight, and it paints the men as lovable, goofy, fun-loving guys. It exaggerated the characters and I had a hard time with it on some days. Why is this how you're portraying women?" This interview alone was enough for people in Hollywood to turn away from wanting to work with her, but it was sealed when she did another interview in 2008 where she dissed the writing in her show Grey's Anatomy as well. Girl, it's like you're purposely trying to ruin your career.